Hello, Kermit the Frog here, and I'm sitting in for Mr. Lawrence today, and I'm going to teach you how to graph some more parabolas. Now you might notice the first thing on this equation here that a is going to be negative. That's going to have a special effect on our parabolas. Oh, I don't know why there's an m there, excuse me. So remember, first thing we need is a, b, c, easy as negative 1, 0, 9. Okay, so now that I have a, b, and c, I'm going to go ahead and find my discriminant. So I need b squared minus 4ac. And when I evaluate that, I get 0 plus 36. And that equals 36. And so there's going to be two solutions, right? Since there are two solutions, my parabola will cross the x-axis in two different places. So I'll go to my quadratic formula and I'll do x equals the negative of b plus or minus the square root of the discriminant. And remember, I don't want to do all that extra work. All over 2a. All right, so now that I have this, I'm going to simplify and see what I get. I'll get plus or minus 6 over negative 2. So positive 6 divided by negative 2 is negative 3. So one of my roots is at negative 3, 0. I think I'll graph that right away. And the other one is going to be negative 6 divided by negative 2. So my other root will be at positive 3, 0. Now that I have my two roots, I'm going to go find my line of symmetry. So I'll do x equals the negative of b over 2a. And b is 0, so it really doesn't matter what the denominator is as long as it's not 0. But I think it'll be negative 2, but that still simplifies to 0. So the line of symmetry is going to be x equals 0. That should be the x-axis. Excuse me, I said that incorrectly. That should be the y-axis. So let me get my line of symmetry in here, just like that. And then I'll plug 0 in for x, and I will get 9 out for an answer. Hey, wait a minute. Do you notice something here? Yes, I have a dancing line of symmetry, but that's not what I meant. I meant that my vertex is my highest point in this case, and my parabola will actually open downward. Now, you guys are so smart. I'll bet you could have told me that it was going to open downward before you saw me do it. How do you think you would do that? Good, Gotham, tell us. You know. Oh, I got to clone that. Excuse me. What's that, Gotham? You're right. Because A was negative, that causes my parabola to open downward. And I get something that looks like this. Oops, kind of jumped on me there. There we go. All right, let's try another one. So, first thing I do is, hey Kermit, thanks for taking over. I'm back. I've got some well rest, and I'm going to do it from here. Okay, Jay, we'll see you later. All right, so we've got A, B, C, easy as negative 4, 4, negative 1. And then we're going to find our discriminant, right? So we're going to do b squared minus 4ac. And that'll be 16. Whoa, what is that? 16, there we go. Minus 16, I believe, right? A negative times a negative times a negative. It's going to be a negative. And that's going to equal 0. So I'm only going to have one root here. So my root is going to be my vertex. So I'm going to go looking for the x-coordinate on my vertex, and I'll do the negative of b over 2a. And I think that's going to end up being 1/2. Okay, negative 4 over negative 8, yeah, it's going to be 1/2. So my line of symmetry is going to be at x equals 1/2. That's not too shabby there. Oops. There we go. Okay, so do I need to go looking for the y-coordinate line of symmetry? Not in this problem, because I know my vertex and my line and my roots are the same point. So the y-coordinate is going to be that, 0. It's going to be sitting on the x-axis. If you didn't know that, you could go ahead and figure it out, but you should come up with 0. Okay, so I'm going to get 1/2, 0 right there. And now I need 2 more points. So I go to an input-output table, and I know that when x is 1/2, y is 0, right? I'm going to plug 0 in, and I'm going to plug 1 in. But I'm really not going to do any hard work for 1. I'm going to do the work with 0 and then use symmetry to get my answer. So if I plug 0 in here, this turns to 0, this turns to 0, and then y is -1. So because of symmetry, this is going to be -1 also. And there is my parabola. And again, it's opening downwards. Why? Because the a coefficient, the coefficient on x squared, was negative. And so I get a downward opening parabola. All right, one more example. Look, a is negative. I'll bet it's going to go open downward. All right, let's go find a, b, and c. A, b, and c. And a will be -1, b will be 2, and c will be -5. My discriminant is going to be 2 squared minus 4 times -1 times -5. I'm going to get 4 minus 20. That's -16. There's no solution to this parabola, which means the parabola will not cross the x-axis. Still got to go find my vertex. X equals -b over 2a. And that's going to be -2 over 2 times -1, which is going to equal 1, I think, +1. So my vertex is at +1. So I'm going to put 1 in to the original equation. Then I'll plug 0 in, and I'll plug 2 in. Oh, by the way, I should put my axis of symmetry in, shouldn't I? Love to put that axis of symmetry in, the line x equals 1 in this case. There we go. All right, so -x squared. Okay. Let's see if I can hold on to my short-term memory. I think I lost it, but I can get it back. Y equals -x squared. Was it plus 2x plus 5? Plus 2x minus 5. Plus 2x minus 5. And I'm going to plug 1 in. Plus 2 times 1 minus 5. All right. So 1 squared is 1. That'll be -1. 2 times 1 is 2 minus 5. So that's going to be -6 plus 2 is -4. So my vertex occurs at 1, -4. All right, 1, -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, when I plug 0 in, I think I'm going to get -5 out for an answer. Yeah, I believe that'll be true. Going kind of fast there. You know, all I did is put 0 in here, 0 in here. Those both turn to 0. The -5 is untouched. So 0, -5 is a vertex. And then, because of symmetry, 2 will also have a y value of -5. And so my parabola is going to do this. And so I graphed 3 different downward opening parabolas. I knew they were downward opening because a was negative. So let's take a minute to review everything we've done in here. First of all, we learned the quadratic formula, right? Okay, if you hear any noise, it's just a wild pack of gondors running through my house. Okay, and then we found that this part of the quadratic formula told us how many solutions. In other words, how many places, we call this the discriminant, right? Okay, this tells us the number of solutions, meaning the number of times the parabola will cross the x-axis. If I have, maybe two solutions where it looks like this, right? I could have one solution which would look like this, right? Or I could have zero solutions where it looks something like this. Okay, and it all depends on if the discriminant is greater than 0, equal to 0, or less than 0, right? Okay, and then we also learned about how to find the x-coordinate of the vertex. And for that, and we also found the line of symmetry, right? We use this part of the equation to do both. It tells us the line of symmetry and the x-coordinate of the vertex. We used an input-output table to figure out the y-coordinate of the vertex. And then sometimes we had to find extra points depending on which graph we were dealing with. We also learned that if you have the equation like this, and A is negative, the parabola will open downward, right? Okay, you should be getting pretty good at this stuff by now. I think that's it for this video. Mr. Lord signing off. Have a good night. Good night, everybody.